Okay, I have here the Boss by WooSah. Great big heavy spinner made of stainless steel. Smooth as can be. Very smooth, very quiet. In fact, you really can't even hear it spinning. Put it right near the mic. Very smooth and very quiet. The play on it, it's a little bit different. It's got the fairly tight cutout in it that goes near the button. It's also got another little cutout on the end, so you kind of catch it in either of those two spaces. But not too bad. But it's a little bit different feel. This one, it weighs in at around 130 grams, and so I'm anticipating a long spin, despite the fact that it's got this really quiet bearing in it. I think it'll still spin pretty long. So we're going to test this one and see how it goes. Okay, I've got WooSah's The Boss spinner here. Just got done testing it. The first thing you notice about this spinner is it is just smooth as silk. You can't feel it spinning. It's almost completely silent, and it's just like liquid. You know, it's just smooth as can be. This one's heavier than most of the WooSah spinners. It weighs in at 127 grams, making it a little bit difficult. If you don't like heavy spinners, you're not going to like this one. But I like it. It's one of those spinners you don't miss very often when you're trying to throw it or pull it. It's really nice. It's fun to play with. Now, with these slow spinners, you'll see sometimes they don't spin very long. This one spun very long. It got an average spin time of 9 minutes and 1 second. And it was actually really consistent about that. It didn't really matter what way it was held, whether it was horizontally or vertically. It got about the same spin times. The mean variability was only 19 seconds. So it's a very consistent spinner. And in terms of appearance, I gave it an 8. I think it looks pretty cool. It kind of looks like a clover. It's got this nice channel carved around it, which makes it nice to look at when you spin it. On the feel, I gave it an 8. I thought about giving it a little bit more, but it's a little bit, you get these deep cuts here and a little minor cut on the outside here, and feels a little bit different. So it's not quite a really perfect feeling spinner, but in terms of how the smoothness and everything, it works out really well. One thing I would mention on this thing, besides the fact that it's so smooth and quiet, is with the rig I use for testing spin times, I can tell very clearly how well balanced the spinners are. The rig will actually start shaking at certain points in time when the spinner is spinning and it's not balanced properly. This Boss here was about the most well-balanced spinner I've ever seen. I sat there and watched the entire spins, and I couldn't see even the slightest shaking in the rig. So I know this thing is balanced perfectly well, as well as you can possibly get it. The best I've seen anyway. So that went into the perceived quality score. I mean, it's a really quality piece. It's very well made. So that added to its score quite a bit. It didn't get much penalty for variation because it didn't vary very much. The only other minor distraction I would mention, the buttons, they do have a concave button, but it's a little bit slippery. You know, you don't feel like you have a really super firm grip on it when you're spinning it, and that, combined with the fact that it's a little bit heavy, makes you kind of have to pay attention to what you're doing when you're playing with it. But yeah, this is a really nice spinner. I think I paid about $125 for this on eBay, secondhand. It's actually, I think it's only really available on Etsy, and I think they run around 125 for that as well on Etsy. But it's the funny thing with the way WooSah sells these, they just put up various different styles on Etsy every now and then, and you just have to keep watching Etsy to see what they've got available at the moment. They've got a few spinners that I'd really like to have, but they just haven't popped up when I've looked. So this one got an overall score of 8.8, which is it's really approaching one of the higher scores I've ever gotten for a spinner. Very nice. It'd be good to pick one of those up.